What's going on, everybody? This is Sean of Raw Select Music. I am back with another recent record pickups video. I got this Dusty Donuts 7-inch, plus a whole other assortment of records, two of which might end up being on my end of the year list. I think they're that good just from the little listen that I've given to them. And yeah, without much more of an introduction, let's talk about these guys. So first off, I really want to talk about this Dusty Donuts 7-inch because it might just be my favorite Dusty Donuts record yet. I've been collecting their records sort of slowly over the last few years, and I really do like their very tastefully done re-edits, mashups, whatever you want to call it. But this one right here might just be my favorite, as it's just so out of control. One side is How We Do the Show, Doc Flex, and NMX West Side Mix, but the real gem on this guy is this one right here. I Get Juiced, Doc Flex, and NMX Gangsta Mix. And the only real way to do this track justice is just to give you a little sample, to give you an idea of how stupid this remix is. So let's get into it. Mashing those two songs together, get a slow clap from me, because somehow it works, somehow it's absolutely amazing, and this is a track that I can't wait to play in a live stream because it's just so ear-catching, and it sort of sticks to that MO of Dusty Donuts taking two very different tracks, mashing them together, throwing some hip-hop drums on them, and making some truly unique mashups. And as someone who really doesn't particularly like that whole genre of music, Dusty Donuts totally gets my seal of approval because these guys really do it better than anybody else. If you are going to try to pick this up, make sure you act fast because Dusty Donuts records are usually pressed in very limited quantities and they do tend to sell out quite quickly. But if you ever run across any Dusty Donuts record, specifically this one, make sure you don't sleep because this might just be my 7-inch pickup of 2020. Alright, next up we have two more additions to my DJ Food collection, and I think these are the last two DJ Food records that I'm going to pick up. As far as I can tell, I'm only missing two DJ mixes, the album that came out in the 2010s, and Jazz Breaks Volume 1, which I don't think I'm ever going to get my hands on, and I don't really care about picking up that 2010s record. This one right here, Jazz Breaks Volume 5, basically in line with all the other Jazz Breaks records that I've picked up at this point. A lot of break beats, a lot of trip-hop style sounds, and I think what kind of separates this one from some of the other ones is that it seems like it's more focused on actual tracks and actual productions rather than just being a collection of well thought out but ultimately just breakbeat tracks. Really dig the vibe on this one. And then we've got DJ Food's 2000 album Kaleidoscope, which originally I wasn't sure if I was going to pick up, but after listening to it again for the first time in probably close to like 15 years, I really found that I like the vibe of this, as it really seems like it's going in a much more musical direction and evolving out of the whole trip-hop sound. I can't wait to listen to this a little bit more. I only gave it sort of a little preview, but my initial thoughts on it are, wow, I'm kind of surprised that I overlooked this record. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do previews for these because I've dealt with YouTube copyright bots in the past with some DJ Food tracks that I've played in live streams, and those were the tracks that ended up forcing me to mute my live stream, so I'm just not going to bother. If you want to check out any of the records that I talk about on my YouTube channel, you can always head over to my WordPress blog because that's where I'll be posting music links to any of the records that I talk about on this channel. And speaking of records that I can't play on this YouTube channel, we got Swarvy's Sunny Days Blue EP. Black Focus Records was also another music label that copyright blocked live streams. So this one I also cannot preview for you. However, from just the initial listen that I've given to this record, this is easily one of the best albums that I've heard this year. Swarvy seems to be moving a little bit away from his more hip-hop focused productions of the past and really focusing on his songcraft, and the results are just absolutely beautiful. It's slightly melancholic. It's got a lot more live instrumentation than some of his more production focused tracks, and it seems like he's going in a more modern neo-soul vibe on this. From front to back, I really like the vibe on this. I really like the atmosphere on it. The bits and pieces that I have heard from this, really compelling, really cool, really sort of laid back, and definitely one of the most impressive records that I've heard in late 2020. I will do a full review of this record at some point, but initial impressions, very, very positive and definitely highly recommended. And then last, we have this record that sort of just came out of nowhere. This is Greg Fote, Symphony Pacific. This was a record that I randomly stumbled onto on Jet Set and was immediately impressed by what I was hearing from it. So I wanted to pick it up and check it out for myself. And now, having listened to it, I am super impressed by this record. So much so that I might even end up making it my album of the year. This is modern jazz done the way that I've always wanted to hear it, with all the technical flair that I love about jazz, while also bringing in a whole bunch of other elements and doing them just as much justice. I'm really absolutely in love with this record. Lush, whole lot of variety on here, and I want to give you a more in-depth opinion about this record at a later date, but initial impressions of this record are super strong. And in terms of a preview track from this one, we're gonna go with Island Life, because that's this track that sticks out to me. But everything I've heard on this record is A+, and am absolutely looking forward to listening to this record over and over again. But for now, let's just get into that track. I cannot praise this album enough, and I do want to go a little bit more in depth in a future video about this record, but in terms of all the records that I've talked about in this video, this is the one that I recommend the most. So if you run across a copy of Greg Fote's Symphony Pacific, definitely make sure you grab a copy of this. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you've checked out any of these records, let me know what you thought about them down in the comments. If you want to hear any of these records for yourself, make sure you head over to WordPress blog, because that's where I'll be posting music links to any of the records that I talk about on this channel. Make sure you head over to my Mixcloud. There you can check out Raw Select Radio, the audio component of this YouTube channel, as well as be on the lookout for live streams in the future. I usually do them on Sundays at 8 o'clock Japan time. Haven't been doing them regularly the last couple of weeks, but I should be, as of at the very least this Sunday, back to a regular live streaming schedule. Links to everything, as always, down in the description. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. So until then, peace out!